Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Black Ways. I'm going to be your DM, GM, storyteller, whatever you would like to call me. Forgotten Dreams, the Forgotten Dreams over on Twitch. We are streaming once more with this beautiful series with a beautiful cast of people on all three platforms, YouTube, Twitch, and Trovo. Someone, thanks so much for the rose. We won't be, unfortunately, answering any of your lovely questions in chats or anything like that as the show goes on. But don't worry, we see you. We may even decide to maybe text you while we are playing away. But either way, it has been a long recess since our last episode. So, getting back into things, we are going to have the dear Wade do a recap. But before we get into that recap, real quick, I know Wade is very excited. Wade, why don't you introduce yourself and who you will be playing?
Well, I am Wade. I am here on a shiny new laptop, so I can actually move it around without it turning off. I am playing Desh, who is the best Kobold Ranger with his giant buddy Nash.
All right. Next up, we will have the Cyber Mamas.
Hey, I'm Cyber Mama 47. I am playing Sasha Oak River, who is a failing, and she is a swashbuckler rogue.
Fantastic. Last but not least, today we will have the Ellen.
Hello, I'm Ellen. I play Senna Thunderhall. She is a half-elf bard/cleric.
Fantastic. And unfortunately, we are missing one Pablo who would have been playing Garen Hoffelstoff or something like that. I don't remember his last name off the top of my head because it's something weird like that. Yeah. But unfortunately, we'll be missing him for this episode, but we hope to see him in the next one. Getting into things, however, Wade, why don't you bring us up to date with that lovely recap?
All right, well, we departed from the mountain town that we came across, and immediately ran into some timey-wimey horseshit, where we found this giant steam valley that we basically went out into for a while, saw trees in the distance, saw nothing in the fog. After a while, and discovering, hey, if it's not like within line of sight, it's technically there. We did about an hour or two of just let me experiment with this shit. Nothing came about from it, but we moved on. Eventually, coming across a giant black pool in the middle of the fog, where the fog did not touch, or the steam, sorry. We just kind of stared at it for a while, and we found that we didn't have interference near the pool, so we called our wizard friends, Avadius, for, hey, what the fuck is this, Magic Man? And he gave us general ideas and hypotheses, nothing too concrete. Proceeded to watch a number of strange slime creatures come out and then kill each other before going back into the slime. We decide, fuck this shit. The steam all dispersed, though, so we could finally see everything. From there, we passed it all by, and soon found ourselves in another town. I don't remember if this was one of the proper ones we were looking for or not. So it's not one of the towns our end goal is. But upon staying here and just being questioned by the locals to an unhealthy degree, we all decided that we'll stay, but we're not going to stay in here, so we're going to just go out to our tent, where, I mean, we had 2 successful watches, and then 1 giant fuck-up of a watch, but that person's not here to take blame. And followed by that, we found a weird man who seems to disappear and reappear at any given time, and we're just on the road again, looking to go to wherever, I suppose, trying to get to the towns that, by our hope, are still there.
Mm-hmm. And ever more onto the quest of finding the Heart of the Fade. Or the Heart of the Grove for the Fade.
Yeah, Heart of the Grove.
Yeah.
I know my backstory quest.
Backstory quest! Alright, so we pick back up with you guys a little bit past the town. On the road, having just watched as the reappearing stranger got back on his horse and rode off into the forest. Despite your attempts to communicate with the individual, he seemed to pay you no mind, almost as if he was in a daze of sorts. and you're maybe, I think it was about 20 or 30 minutes outside of town at this point, in the middle of the road, in the middle of a forest. What would you like to do?
I thought we were
Well,
heading down
we have
the
a proper
road.
heading. We're on a road, or we just on?
You're on a road.
Yeah, I thought we were heading down the way near the beach.
So the beach is, you can see the beach, you can see the waves, you can see the impenetrable gray fog that always, permeates over the water. It's not too far, but there is an actual dirt road here that you guys are on at this point. Because if you remember earlier, you were traveling on the beach itself, then eventually I said it went into forestry. You guys decided to stay along the forest, and then eventually you guys ran into a road, at which point you decided to get on that road.
Yeah, so we're just, I guess,
On the road
traveling
again.
down the road. Yeah.
On the road again.
Okay, well, I am
Alright,
feeding my
well,
worms. So I am like in the middle of the party feeding my worms and nervously looking in the distance into the gray that is the fog ocean every once in a
Okay, give me a perception check. In fact, all of you can give me beautiful perception checks. Yeah. No.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Snake eyes.
Tasty. It's gonna be a good session today. All right. Okay, so Sasha and Senna. As you get, well, or sorry, no, Senna, you are distracted horribly by a fly that constantly keeps buzzing
It's driving me
past
crazy.
your ears. It's like it goes over to one ear, and right when you go to swat at it, it zips away and then comes over to the other one and goes. Bzzz. And it's just bugging you to no end. Distracting you from any perceptibility at this point. However, Desh and Sasha, as you are going along the road, one of you is feeding your worms. You, Sasha, actually, yeah, both of you will notice because you got high enough. Jesus. You both notice that within the impermeable gray fog over the ocean, there is a whirl of smoke that looks somewhat like a tentacle. Just shadowy tentacle that just moves and disappears further into the smoke.
Okay, that looks bad.
Does the smoke out over the water?
This is smoke out over the water, yeah.
Okay, it's just basic Kraken. It's explainable.
It's just a kraken.
Hey, this isn't like weird abnormal stuff. There are giant sea monsters. That's just an established lore of D&D.
That's true.
Okay, let's stay as far away from that as possible.
I mean, I think if you wanted to go near it, you'd have to get in water, and that seems like bad mode of travel.
Yeah, getting in the water, not happening.
Yes, that's why we are on the road, not in water.
Senna, what do you think of that?
I don't know what you're talking about. This fly is driving me crazy, though. Do you guys hear that buzzing?
God. That
The fog?
tentacles.
That's fog.
It was thing out in the ocean. It shaped like tentacle. We missed it.
I mean,
As I said, not go in ocean.
Stay away
We'll
from
be
that.
fine.
I don't think we were planning on going in the ocean anyways, right?
Can I
Exactly.
kill a fly?
We're not going ocean to begin with. Not need to worry about it.
Make me a, what would you like to hit it with? Actually, that's a good question.
My hands. I'm just gonna.
Wait, it's
Okay.
near my head. Be careful.
Make me a dex
With my hair.
attack.
It give you a what?
A dex attack.
Dexterity.
It's That's a dex save.
Sorry.
Let's see. No, it's fine.
It's a dex
We
save?
can go to your character sheet. And what we need to do is we need to
Oh,
look at
okay.
your normal dex ability.
Okay,
One day
I'll
we'll
take
get
the
that
one
right.
I got it.
Yeah, which is a +1, so we minus... Oh, okay. We're still going to take the first roll.
got it.
So, yeah, we -3 from that. And, yeah, no. You miss the fly horribly, and you clap your hands next to Senna's ear.
Stay still.
Come on, get it off my head. It's driving me crazy.
I try again.
Okay.
For just weird horseshit I can do. Where is it? Just when I had... Yeah. Primal awareness. Can I just ask the fly to go somewhere else? I can communicate simple ideas to beasts. Unless you want to say that I need a whole different skill tree to talk to insects.
Let me see here. This would have totally worked if someone did not just try to attack it.
If anything, convincing it to leave when it's under attack should be even easier.
Yeah, but unfortunately the ability reads you cannot use this ability against a creature that you have attacked within the past 10 minutes.
He didn't attack it. I did.
It goes under the party thing. It falls under that, unfortunately.
The royal you.
Yeah, it's the royal you. But eventually, after a few minutes, it does go off into the distance.
Stupid fly.
If anything should take as compliment.
Fly.
Oh wait, no. That is butterflies that go around nice smelling things.
Flies are not cool. Just saying.
All right.
Very judgmental of you.
Are you guys still heading northwest?
Yes.
Okay. Maybe about a good 3.5 hours down the road, you spot in the middle of the road an individual in rusted half plate, a sword embedded in the muddy road. Up ahead, you can see that the road is a bit wet, like it's recently been raining in this area. And there is some sort of black cloth that has been torn heavily that lays in one of the puddles of mud. Further up, maybe about 30 feet away from him, a few arrows haphazardly stick out of the ground and out of a few trees. There's 2 dead horses with their bowels torn out and somewhat a bloody trail that goes off further west into the forest.
So he's in a sinkhole in the middle of the road?
He's not in a sinkhole, he's just lying face down in the road, in the mud.
Okay, I'm going to go investigate and see if he's alive.
How close do you want to get?
Beware of skeletons.
I'm going to go right up to him and check to see if he's alive.
Okay, so you trot up onto him to get a better look. You can't see he is a skeleton, more than likely a member of the Legion of the Lost.
Boy. All right. So I'm going to search him.
Okay. Go ahead and make me an investigation check. As you get off your horse and get down there and get up in the mud. Start going over his personal possessions with a 9. He's got rusted plate mail. He's got his necklace. And he's got that blade sticking in the mud. You don't see him with a satchel. The brown satchel that you saw in the other members of the Legion who were in this kind of armor, he doesn't have that.
Anybody want this blade?
I have my own.
Okay. Get back up on my horse and look around.
Okay. Make me a perception check. Where are the two of you while she was doing this investigation?
I am hanging back and now seeing skeletons and having non-flashbacks. The last time we met skeletons, I am rapidly looking around the tree lines.
Okay. Yeah, make me a perception check as well. What about you, Senna?
I would be doing the same thing, seeing that there are arrows and whatnot stuck in the trees. I would be looking around.
Fantastic. You can also give me one.
I mean, the arrows are scary, but the whatnot, that is terrifying.
Right.
So both Dash and Senna, you can see that it looks like the battle may have continued further into the forest. Maybe a good 65 feet away from where you guys are on the main road. You can see that there is a few more arrows that stick mainly out of trees. There's also one of the trees looks like it's had a portion of at least the face that's siding you, its bark like stripped clean off, almost like when you see a tree that's been hit by a bolt of lightning and it strips all the bark off. It's just a portion of it has been stripped off. And there's like wistful smoke that comes from the grass underneath that spot, but it looks like no one's currently there.
There wasn't a thunderstorm as far as we know, though. This wasn't.
It
like,
rained
walking
last
on this
night,
road.
but there was no thunder.
Okay.
And when thunder hits a tree, it looks like the whole tree gets like debarked. This just looks like a small spot.
Right. Okay.
Definitely a serious battle here.
Looks like somebody used magic as well.
I get back on my horse.
Okay.
Keep moving, not stay in one place for long.
All right. You guys keep moving. The hours begin to pass once more until eventually you guys start to come into a clearing of the forestry. And you can see just as the clearing opens up, there are a scatter of houses, and it looks like the land has recently been tilled, maybe within the last week or so. And it looks like you're coming upon some farmland. There are a few homes off in the distance that you see that have lights in them. Others are completely dark. None of them look run down, but you do see the occasional grazing cattle or roaming horse in a fenced-in pen area.
So are we heading towards a town?
You don't see a town in the horizon. You simply just see farmland.
It's likely
Alright,
that maybe
so
it's just like farmland from the other town that we're still technically inside.
Maybe. Could be. You're a little far from that town for this to be their farmland.
Yeah.
And this stretches on for about a good 7 or 8 miles from what you can see.
Yeah, so are we getting ready to camp, guys?
How late in the day is it?
It's, let's see, with what time you guys left the town, it's maybe about 2 or 3:30 in the afternoon.
We got a couple more hours of walking ahead of us.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was that early. No, we keep going.
So you guys keep heading through this land, and as you do, you see there's a family that is loading up a cart that looks like they're loading it up with burlap sacks. There are a few individuals who stand next to the cart on the road. They look to be in gambersons. One of them has some chainmail on, but they don't carry any crest or sigil or marking of any heraldry that you see. Most of them carry spears, a long sword, and have a heater shield that is strapped onto them and currently situated on their back, but you can't make out what symbol's on the heater shield from where you are.
Does it look like it's like a caravan?
No, it's just the one cart and these 3 guards, you could say, and the 2 older farmers that are an older farming couple that is kind of loading it up with these burlap sacks.
Smile and wave.
Okay. So as you pass them by, they kind of wave back, and they don't pay you any heed. They watch as you go for a little bit, and then shift their attention back to what they were doing. Further up the road, you can see that there is a split in the road. The main roadway keeps going northwest. The other one just starts heading more and more west.
Well, we still want to head north-ish, right? So we should probably follow the northwest.
West.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You guys continue on, and hours pass. You leave the farmland, and you start going back into sort of the more heavily forested area. Right about when it comes to good 7 at night, and you can notice the sun starting to finally go down rapidly. Excuse me. But as it's getting darker and darker and you're traveling along, you do see that further into the forest there is what looks to and sounds like a bonfire, and quite a few people talking amongst each other. You can hear the clank of iron. You hear the sound of several metal boots squishing into the mud, and the whinny of at least 20 or 30 horses, just as you're moving along. You can't see where they are, though, but you do see smoke a good 5 miles off the road, further west of you.
Okay.
And that's right around when the sun hits darkness.
So we're gonna look for a camp site.
It's up to you guys.
Yeah, and how close are we to the people, the bonfire? And
They're about 5 miles off the road.
oh, okay. I thought you said the smoke was 5 miles, but I didn't know the people were. Okay. Yeah.
They may be
Where there's
closer.
smoke, there's
but,
people.
Yeah. They may be closer than that, but that's at least where you know the fire is, and where you do hear quite a bit of commotion. It doesn't sound like violent commotion. It just sounds like people in large number moving about.
Okay.
But you guys go ahead and set up camp on the road, maybe a little bit off of it.
Through.
Okay. You guys go ahead and set up for the night, and as you do...
Do we find a good place?
Well, if you want to find a really good place, go ahead and make me a survival check.
I'll give you guidance since I know we're looking for a camp.
Okay. Uh-oh. Yeah. Guidance is what?
That's a
D4.
D6. Oh, a D4? Even worse. Yeah.
Yeah, you're thinking of her inspirations. What do you think she was using?
Yeah, I was thinking of her inspiration. You're right. You right.
1d4.
Mm-hmm. There we go. Okay.
Oh,
So you don't see the best campsite. You kind of just look at a couple spots and go, I mean, any of these will really do. But Desh, you go through and you look over where she's pointed out, and you say, nah, and head a little bit deeper into the forest, maybe about a good another 30 feet, and you find a decent little outcropping. The leaves are a bit heavier here, but it's a decent enough space to fit all the tents, and also it gives you a bit more cover from the road. You guys go ahead and set up camp. Are you guys going to be digging down like normal, or are you going to just set up?
we're digging in, going ahead and setting up our tents and
Okay.
putting everything in our tents because the tents are invisible, so it
Mhm.
helps.
Okay, so you guys start to take the time to dig down into the earth and get yourselves all nice and set up. And about right when you're actually putting the pittance of the tents into the soil, you hear a rush of hoof prints, and further up the road you can just see the torchlight of several riders making their way down the road and then quickly cutting off the road and heading towards that bonfire.
All right.
And you just watch as their handheld torches eventually disappear into the general haze of light that comes from that side of the forest.
How far from us were they? How far from us
They were
were
right
they?
on the road, so they were about 40 feet from you.
Okay.
Did they see us?
You would assume not, seeing as you can't properly see the road. They couldn't see you.
Good. Okay. Make sure that the animals go in their invisible tent.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to feed all the animals and make sure everybody gets what they need.
Okay. How are we going to set up watches? Who's doing what first?
I can take second.
I'll take first.
Okay.
I mean third.
All right. You'll take third. Okay. So, I'm going to need Senna to go ahead and make me a perception check as the night progresses onwards and your watch takes place. 12. That's decent enough. So, as your watch is going on, maybe into about the third hour of your watch, you hear a number of voices on your side of the forest. You don't see any light, but you do hear the sound of chainmail, weapons lightly bouncing against the wood of a shield, and low voices. And you just barely catch the edge of a conversation where you hear a male, you're not sure what age, but young at least, that much you know. And you hear him speaking to one or more individuals. You think you're hearing about three. And he says, Tarvinius has called us all to deal with the goblins up in the forest up ahead. So keep your eyes open. And the conversation cuts there. And then you hear them moving past your camp. And they get very close. You can physically see them just at the edge of your 60-foot range. I think you have 60-foot dark vision, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you see them just at the edge of your 60-foot dark vision. You notice that one of the individuals is definitely a drow. But he's currently not looking in your direction. The other individual with him is a human. And the last individual that you see is a halfling. But the halfling and the drow are currently not looking in your direction at all. So you assume they don't notice the camp in any way or the ditch that you guys dug for it. And that's when you pick a little bit more of the conversation back up, and the drow says, "Have you heard that Prince Arlick has been killed? His horse was slain by a dreadwalker." And the halfling, who is a woman, I should mention, she goes, "No, I didn't. What about his sister? Weren't they out together?" And the conversation eventually trails off as they head further past you into the forest, in the direction that the farmland was. So possibly either on patrol or just doing their own thing. You're not sure.
Okay.
Other than that, your watch does go without interrupt.
Would I have recognized any of the names?
No, unfortunately, none of the names are familiar. But you do remember from your conversation with the very rude bartender the other night that you are in the presence of a kingdom, a smaller medieval kingdom that is up here, of several that exist up here. So you assume that it has to do with their political circles, although you have no real history as to what that is involved or who is in that.
All right. I'll wake up Dash. I'll pass along what I saw and what I heard. Probably doesn't
Okay.
mean anything to him either, but just in case.
See.
Desh, as you get the information, make me a history check.
Out.
Nope. All right. So you do your watch. Go ahead and give me your perception check. I should actually mention before you do this perception check, if you guys want, from now on, what I'm going to be allowing is this is a perception check if you want to stay within the boundaries of camp, an investigation check if you're willing to go on a patrol of like 30 feet around camp.
Okay.
All that fucking echo speak I got. Perception to be in camp, investigation to go outside camp.
Yeah, about 30 feet radius outside camp. Sorry, Mama, we're getting echo from you. Yeah, I just recognize it as well.
All right, do I get anything bonus with my boy Nash helping me, or?
Yeah, sure, I'll give you advantage on it.
25.
Okay. Once again, into your watch, at about the 2-hour mark for your watch, you hear the sound of metal boots slopping in the mud and occasionally crunching some leaves. And you actually see a torch moving along with the sound of about 3 sets of feet on the road itself, just sort of moving generally from left to right, further towards the farmland. Although you don't pick up any conversations. With a 25, what I will say is you do catch a glimpse of one of the individuals. The individual's a half-orc, male, late 30s, very heavily scarred from what you can see, missing a right eye. And he has on chainmail, a gambeson, and a spear, longsword, and a heater shield. And on the heater shield, there is a griffin and a dragon. And the heater shield is generally painted red as the background. The griffin is gold, the dragon is black, with hints of gold on some of its scales.
Okay. Is that symbol familiar at all? To like anything
Make me a
we've...
history check.
Dash is just the best at those. He knows all the book learnings.
Yeah.
Oh,
Nope.
well.
It's a heraldry.
Yeah, some people got him, I suppose. All right, well,
Okay.
if nothing immediately dangerous is presenting itself, suppose hand over watch to the next person.
Okay. As you go to wake up, Sasha, off in the distance, back in the direction of the farmland, just as you've woken Sasha, the two of you hear a loud pop, and there is a red light that goes streaking up into the air. And then there's another pop, and as the red light begins to fade and come down to the earth, a black and white light goes up into the air. And then there is a large explosion off in the distance. And you can hear the sound of people coming to alert on the other side of the forest. Several sets of armored footsteps begin to make their way in that direction, and you can hear some general shouting. The only words you're able to really make out through all the muffle of the distance between your two groups is "under attack," and that even gets muffled out mostly from the several times that you do hear it by the sound of a very loud horn that plays out from that side of the forest.
This sounds like it's pretty far away.
It sounds like it's going down in the farmlands and that side of the forest, so you're safe, at least from your best judgments.
All right, buddy, go to sleep.
Okay, well, for us being safe and, yeah, sure. I guess I'll go to sleep. Hope that nothing trails this way.
Yeah, not our fight.
Okay. All right. So you hope nothing trails this way as you go to sleep. Go ahead and roll me, Sasha, your watch. As these, yep, this, okay. Okay. Interesting. All right.
Oh boy.
Huh. So,
Ooh.
during your watch, everything's going smoothly aside from the sound of a pitched battle off in the distance, the sound of several drums being played. You can hear the sound of trumpets and flutes. You hear the sounds of the clash of metal, the whiz of arrows going by, even some that come close to camp but don't seem to be aimed towards you guys. And
Sneak. Uh,
you're cutting out,
see how close.
so I can't hear what you're trying to say.
Can I sneak around our camp and see how close these people are?
Sure, go ahead and make me a stealth check and an investigation.
Okay.
You're the one always going on about how dangerous everything is, and you're the one running off on your own.
All right. You believe yourself stealthed? Okay. So, how far are you willing to get away from camp?
No, I'm just like just on the edges, just peeking. I don't want to get, I don't want to get more than like a hand away. It would be enough where I could jump back into the invisible tent. Because I'm kind of chicken.
Okay. This is at disadvantage. Okay. 5 does not hit you. Crossbow bolt goes flying overhead.
Oh God.
It doesn't seem like
Okay,
it
I'm
was
going
aimed at
back
you.
inside.
Yeah.
Yeah, back in the tent for me.
And as you slip back into the tent, you hear the whistle of about 3 more crossbow bolts that go overhead, and you actually hear the wet thud of it hitting something on the other side of your camp. And there is the sound of a person in armor tripping and slamming into a puddle of water and mud, and you can hear like a low gurgle.
Seems problematic.
And eventually, everything goes quiet.
I'm quite nervous.
You notice
Stays quiet.
the forest never went quiet fully.
Okay. Is the forest quiet now?
Nope. You can still hear birds. You can still hear the crickets. Everything is a normal night. The normalest night you've ever had. Aside from the killing.
I am going to very, very carefully peek out and look around.
Okay. You peek out and look around, and you can see off in the direction that you heard the gurgling noise. There's a woman in her late teens, no older than 19, with a gnarled black crossbow bolt wedged into her neck, and she is slumped over, with her bow still lightly hanging from her hands, an arrow just a few feet away from her. She is slumped against a tree, looking in your direction.
Did any of the bolts hit any of our tents?
Make me an investigation check. The animal tent does have a bolt that is like lightly stuck in the top of it.
Okay, I'm gonna dislodge that bolt
Okay, you dislodge that bolt.
because I don't want someone walking by and seeing a bolt up in the air sticking into nothing.
Okay.
Everything else looks like it's.
Everything else
Do I
looks
need to
fine.
repair anything?
Other than that hole, no.
Yeah, repair the hole.
Okay. Go ahead and this is going to be. Ooh, I need a character sheet. Hold on. Let me go into yours. Let me see what kits you have. Okay. All right. Make me a survival roll. As you don't have any proficiency with any, like, kits that you have on you. And you're basically down to the needle and thread in your burglary pack.
Side of the tent and making the repair from the inside so that, because if I tried to do it from the outside, it would probably show. So,
Okay. All right. You make repairs as best you can.
is it time for
Yeah, it's the end
our
of your
people to
watch.
wake up? Okay, well, I wake everybody up and tell them what happened, and I show them the repairs that I made.
Okay, immediately I run outside and go to check the woman.
Oh, she is dead. She is so dead. She has been dead for hours.
I ask anybody if they
Why
can
did you
hear
not
her
check
going.
on her?
Arrows. She was
Arrows do
gurgling.
not mean. She was gurgling, she was living. You left her to die.
Well, I didn't leave her to die. She was already dying. I mean, it's in her neck.
You did not think to wake us? Wake Senna, who can heal? Your hands. This woman is dead.
I just, you're right. I didn't think. I just didn't think that we should be running out trying to do something for this woman in the middle of a battle and putting us in the middle of it. Yeah,
I mean, I agree that it's probably best that we stay out of these people's business. We're just passing through here. We don't want to get involved in anything.
it's not like we're not already on a quest to make sure that we find the heart, but yeah, I should have involved us. Can anybody check my work on the tent to make sure it's decent? What does it look like, by the way?
I mean, you guys know the tent's there, so you can see the, like, very thin thread work that's been done.
But can you really see it from the outside?
Why don't your companions who want to investigate that investigate it?
Just look it over.
Looks great to me.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice job.
Okay, so let's pack up and let's get the heck out of Dodge because I don't want to get caught up in something that doesn't have anything to do with us.
Get
I
the
agree.
hell out of here.
All right. You guys pack
You
your...
can eat rations on the road.
Okay. You guys pack up your things. Get the tents packed away. Get the animals ready to travel. And do you guys immediately try and get back on the road and start heading out, or do you try and go through the forest before getting back on the road?
I think we should go through the forest and around the and back to the road because I don't want to get caught up in the goblin thing.
Okay.
What do you think, Dash?
As long as we move north, that is what I need.
Okay. So, you guys begin heading through the woods. You can still see the beach, naturally. And actually, as you guys, since it is daytime, you looking out towards the beach, it looks like there was some fighting on the beach. And there are roughly 100 or so bodies of humanoid and goblinoid just strewn about in various states of dead.
Are they like dead? Like they've been there for a long time?
It looks like they've been there for
Last
quite a
night?
while. But in order to get a full sense, you'd probably have to go over and investigate to see if there were any survivors at all.
Any obvious shiny things laying around?
Plenty of blades, plenty of spears, plenty of shields, plenty of armor that looks like it's been recently commissioned but isn't, the best in the world. Definitely mass-produced. Quite a few flags that are torn and destroyed with heraldry of both on both the goblin and humanoid sides of the battle, respectively. A few
There's
dead
money and jewels.
A few dead horses scattered about here and there. You want to go on a coin cutting spree?
Yeah.
Kind of, yeah.
Okay. So go ahead and give me investigations from those of you trying to find yourself some coin
All right.
purses.
I will give bardic inspiration to one person, and guidance to myself for the investigation.
Okay.
So 19 for me. Oh,
I have no interest.
inspiration's not going to help either one of you.
Oh, yeah, no, it really isn't. Okay, so with your 19, you head out and you start searching some of the bodies. You look for those of them that look to be in better kit than everybody else and start looking for their purses, and you do find a few. However, when you cut them, you do notice that inside there aren't bronze, silver, platinum, or gold or anything like that. Instead, there is what looks to be, at your best guess, like onyx pieces with this silver inlaid writing on it.
Can I read the writing?
What languages doth thou speak?
Common, Elvish, Celestial.
Okay, in Celestial, it reads, you hold the king's gold.
Alright. Can't hurt to hang on to
It's
this.
actually on gold.
It is not gold. It is definitely onyx.
The king's gold.
For this.
How
for this
much, like how
region.
many? I find?
With those, with a 19, I'll say you get roughly about a good 57 coins.
Okay.
Sure, take that.
Sasha, do you want to put these in the bag of holding in case we come across someone who takes these as currency?
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Sasha, with your 7, you get like 3
57.
coins.
Okay, 60 onyx.
All right, great.
No.
During your investigations, you don't find any survivors human-wise, but you do find a horse that has recently had one of its legs amputated. That is sort of just laying in the sand, breathing heavily, not moving.
Oh.
It's got a few arrows in it, and its back right leg is cut in twain.
I'm going to put the poor horse out of its misery.
Okay.
Dash, do you think Nash wants a haunch?
It's not
After
a
we
hunt,
kill it?
but Nash would like treats.
Okay.
All right.
I actually don't have a dagger or anything.
You do. I'll give you one of my daggers.
Okay. I'll use the dagger to, well, I guess, sever its spinal cord right at the base of its neck so it just dies instantly, and then I'll carve off a leg for, unless Nash wants to chew off his own leg. I can cut it off for him.
I mean, not his own leg, but
No, like the leg for himself.
yes.
Not his own. That would be weird.
So yeah, you go ahead and you end the suffering of the horse, and when offered, Nash does rip off a few juicy bits, mainly from the rib cage and one of the more meatier parts of one of the legs.
I'll rinse off the dagger and give it back to you, Sasha.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, it's time for us to get out of here. Let's be feet, guys.
Okay. You guys continue your way. Do you want to head back into the forest or continue along the beach just in the open?
I think we should go back in the forest. What do you got?
Well, if there is fighting going on in territory, forest may give us cover, but they also be the cover for people who seek to fight.
I mean, we can move more quickly on the road, and Dash has a point that we might run into somebody either way, on the road or trying to hide from it like we are.
Road it is. Let's go.
All right. You guys begin making your way off the beach and back onto the road. And as you guys are getting off the beach and you head into the forest itself, you find a few more bodies. This time, the bodies are in the much younger age groups. So young boys, no older than 12 and 13. Young girls, no older than 15. Most of them seem to have short swords and heater shields, and they are standing around a bunch of torn through burlap sacks and a few dead mules.
What's
They
in the sack?
alive?
None of them. There's about 20 or so of them in total.
Would seem battle goes for quite some time.
Yeah, what's in the sacks?
Yeah. What's in the sack?
Nothing's in the sacks. They've all been torn open and everything's been pillaged from them. One of the sacks has some leftover bits of what looks like rice, and that was in it that you can see. Cinna, you being from royalty, you know that at least in Faerun, when it came to these sorts of things, children like this were usually pulled from well-doing houses within the nobility, higher middle class and lower upper class, and they were given the honor of being the protectors of the baggage train. It was sort of an honorary position. You're not supposed to actually see battle, but you are supposed to get some experience with the military, and this can sometimes lead to eventually you getting a higher position in the military when you first join. That doesn't just involve you pouring boatloads of coin into getting an officer's rank. This is one way to get that officer's rank through early service. But it doesn't look like it went too well for these kids.
Can we tell how they were killed? Are there the same arrows that we saw before? Can we tell if it was the goblins?
You do see some of the black bolts. You also see a few of the kids were trampled by a horse. And a few of them were run through.
I'm gonna take one of the short swords just because I just realized I don't have any stabby
Okay.
items.
Yeah, sure. You take
So
one of the
I'll
short
just
swords.
take one.
It is, like I said, with the soldiers, it's purely a sword that's made, cheap, cost effective, and in
Right.
bulk. So
But
you have
we'll
a
cut
common
a
short
horse's
sword.
leg off, right?
Right.
If we have the need again. Okay.
So you stow that away. Other than that, all the mules here have been killed. Most of them half eaten as well. Um, doesn't look like by goblins. It looks more like by wolves and other carnivorous animals that have come by as the night went on. Past them, you start seeing less and less blood and more just tracks of people leaving, both goblin and humanoid footprints.
Hmm. The battle went far and wide.
Yeah, I figure eventually these people will be back to bury their dead.
Um, Eventually, you do begin to come upon a smaller town that's roughly about 12 buildings clustered together near the road, in a bit of a clearing in the forest. You can see littering on both the left and right side of the town are a number of tents, many of them torn, some of them look partially burned. There are quite a few heraldries, some fresh, some old and tattered from the battle. And there is a buzz of roughly a good 100 or so soldiers moving about in, just generic armor. No one looks to be of high rank or have particularly good gear from what you can see. But as you get closer to the town, you do find about 11 goblin bodies that are just lying in the forest dead. And it looks like this is kind of where the survivors regrouped and are kind of staying in this small town, moseying about. Few of them are in the streets of the town itself, going into what looks like the largest building of the 12. A building that it looks like it has a giant boat for the roof that's just been converted into the roof of a building at one point, and it's got the tabernacle in as the signage above it. Yeah.
So do we want to stop and have like a nice dinner before we head on, or are we just gonna to keep on passing through as quickly as possible?
Um, I don't know. I would just as soon keep moving. I don't really want to get involved in whatever's going on here. Not to say that we necessarily would, but we might.
Okay, let's go.
Okay. You guys continue through town. As you pass by the inn itself, you do hear quite a few moans, wails, and screams, as it sounds, at least, and from the trails of blood heading through the double doors of the tavern, it's no longer a tavern; it's more of a infirmary. But you do still smell, cooking meats, the smell of stale ale wafting from within, and there is the sound of a roaring fire within as you pass it by. No one pays you heed as you keep going down the street and past the town itself, further down this road. And that is where we're going to take our break, and we will be back for our last roughly hour of the stream. Thank you all so much for coming out. We will see you soon. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Black Waves. Getting back into this. Aha, I was on the wrong screen. You guys didn't see that. Anyways.
Chat, tell us our secrets.
Tell them all the secrets, chat. I dare you. Anyways, so, getting back into things, you guys continue past the town and continue along the road. Let's see. Any conversations that want to happen on the road while you're traveling, or are they going to remain pretty much silent as you guys travel?
Kind of silent.
Looking around and seeing that nobody's approaching us or really paying attention to us.
Okay. Gotcha. All right, so as you guys continue down the road, you get maybe a good mile and a half out of town before you start hearing, hoof prints coming your way down the road. Roughly about 30 of them. Eventually you watch as around the bend, a number of heavily armored and armed individuals on horses begin going past you. One of them looks to be have a bit more of a royal air to him. And as he's in the middle of passing you, he kind of slows down, and you watch the formation that he's with also begins to slow down. And he raises his hand to all of you. Hail!
Hello?
You all look to be mercenaries. Are you heading away from the fight? Is your contract done? Did everything go well?
We're not mercenaries, just traveling through.
Ah, very well. You head purely northwest into the city?
Yep.
Ah, very well. In that case, keep an eye out for the patrol that was on the outskirts of the city. Let them know that we have arrived at this town. A good 8 miles from here.
All right.
I appreciate it.
We'll let him
And
know.
he goes into a small brown satchel, and he throws Sasha. He throws to you a small little coin purse.
Okay, I catch it.
Okay, as you catch it, he just continues on. And so do they.
All right.
Look inside.
There are 10 coins, 10 of those black onyx coins.
Okay. That was nice of him.
Oh, we continue going and then tell these people we saw them come here.
Okay, you guys continue on, and just as it's beginning to become very late evening, you can begin to make out further into the forest at where the forest begins to make an opening. Roughly about 1.5 miles from you guys, there is the walls of a city of some sort. Large stone, and from this distance you can already see the wear and tear on them. It looks like they've suffered through several sieges already, and quite a few of the towers and bastions of the wall are being currently repaired. As you can see, a number of makeshift cranes and scaffolding has been set up for what looks like quite some time. And a few people that you can just barely make out as a haze moving back and forth on them.
Okay. Is not scouts. Scouts are usually out and about, yes?
Yeah, you don't see the scouts yet. You do see there are the hoof prints of the individuals that were past you. There's also a few footprints in the mud of the road nearby that looks like there was a group of people on foot that moved down the road and then eventually cut off and headed into the forest more to your west. But the tracks are hours old.
All right, so are we going in the city or are we going around it?
Maybe we should stop and find out what's going on. If they keep cutting off to the west and we're going northwest, we might eventually run into whatever is happening.
Okay. Continuing along, you do see roughly about 4 men in that same, manufactured armor. One of them wears chainmail. The rest wear red and blue gambersons with heater shields, spears, and long swords, kind of walking down the muddied road. More walking alongside it. And there are a few houses dispersed here and there outside of the city walls as you come into the clearing that these guys seem to be patrolling through. And there is, now that you could kind of see the clearing and see the front of the walls and the gatehouse, on the gatehouse is the heraldry of the griffin and the black dragon with that red background.
Do I recognize anything about this heraldry?
Make me a history check.
Okay.
No. Other than it's been the heraldry that you've seen on all the soldiers who died up, well, southeast of here. But as you go along, the patrol kind of looks you guys over. And one of them does stop you. The one in the chainmail stops you and says, "Hail, travelers. You going into town? Going past?"
Yeah, just passing through. And I'll tell him what the dude said who threw us the coins.
Very well. Do you know if the main army actually met with the goblin kind?
Heard
No.
battles in the night.
Yeah.
Okay. How fare they?
We find lots and lots of bodies of both kinds next day.
Interesting. Thank you. Yeah, proceed. And they continue to walk up the road. And if you pay attention to them, you notice they, as soon as they get roughly to the point where you saw the foot trail head off west into more of the forest, they cut off west.
I guess that must be their, walking route or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So are we going to find a tavern here, or are we going to keep on going through the city? What time of day is it anyway?
It's late evening, so the sun will be down in maybe about 2 hours.
But-
Well, I was gonna say, why don't we just stop in a tavern, get a drink, hear the gossip, and move on?
Look for a tavern.
Okay. You guys continue on and look for a tavern. It's not until you get towards the walls themselves and actually get towards the large double gates that go into the city proper that you run into the first tavern. It doesn't have any signery on it. It just has, it doesn't have any signery on it name-wise. It just has a blacksmith's anvil and a wooden stein of ale that's slightly sloshing out of the mug as the signage on the actual place. And there is, of course, that very, permeating normal smell of stale ale that wafts out of the building. Also very heavy stale scent of peanuts. And for those of you who are familiar with it, the smell of chewing tobacco.
Really?
There is no stables that you guys see. There's just a rail where you can see a number of horses are tied to it. And you don't see any buildings that look to be a commons house that's attached to the establishment. And it doesn't look like this place has a second floor.
Should we head further in and really look for a proper tavern, or stop here?
Does it look like it's going to be a huge city that might have something further in?
You do you hear that hustle and bustle of a large city, and you can hear the shouts of criers from this side of the wall. The wall goes from just before the beaches all the way deep into the forest, so it stretches for about a good mile and a half across from what you can see.
Is there anybody out in the streets like we can ask where a proper tavern is?
There are plenty of farmers
Where
in
we could stay?
fields that are kind of packing up equipment and things like that, and moving their livestock into barns. Um, there, there are two individuals that are leaning against the doorway of the tavern or inn or whatever it is. And there are quite a few individuals, including armored individuals, at the actual gatehouse. The gatehouse is only 80 feet from you guys.
I'll go up to somebody at the gatehouse and I will ask them what's the most popular, well-appointed tavern in the city.
Bork, bork, bork.
Okay. So you ask one of the guardsmen, and he says, "Popular? Are you looking to get blasted or just have a place to rest?" I mean, 'cause that's
Just to rest and hear the news.
Widow's Peak.
Can you point me in the direction?
He just points
All right.
off.
Okay, I'll go that way.
Okay.
Thanks. I'm sure we can find it.
Yeah. Before you guys actually are allowed into the city, he says, "Do you have anything to declare? Any
Well,
goods?"
we're not from around here. What types of things are declarable?
Oh, do you have any fruits from any places beyond 100 miles that you're bringing into the city? Any livestock of... And he motions up and down. Unique desert taste or otherwise that you look to sell or possibly have populate in the area. Any trade goods that you're looking to sell in city, there's a trade tax.
Nothing like that. We're just passing through, stopping for a drink, and moving on.
Okay. So the creature will not be breeding.
Oh, no, probably not.
Very well. Then you are good to go. And they open up the gate for you. And as you guys are going past, he says,
Seems your friend is passed out, suddenly standing up.
You watch as her eyes glaze over temporarily as he goes to speak, just thinking, ugh, what is it now? And then as he continues to speak, her eyes unglaze once more as she begins to pay back attention again. You should perhaps pay the 2 silver for the stables across the street instead of using the stables at the Widow's Peak.
Do they actually use silver or do they use, and I show the onyx pieces? These pieces.
That is... You have the king's gold. Interesting. No, that is actual... That's... how do I put this? And he looks towards one of the other guards. How much is that worth again? And the guy whispers back to him, "It's worth 30 gold." And he goes, one piece of that is worth 30 gold. But no, they take gold and silver on the normal.
Okay, thank you.
You guys head into the city. The streets, as you're first heading in, are immediately just large, muddy pathways that have been made for people to travel along. They're not cobbled, they're not cemented in any way. Most of the homes have a ramshackle of architecture, some of them looking very elegant and beautiful, others looking like they were hurriedly put together within the last few weeks. So the architecture varies heavily, and I would say the architecture style goes from a heavy sort of late 1500s Germany style of architecture to rapidly into a ramshackled southern Italy, like early 1200s architectural style buildings.
Wow, it's really
Take your word
interesting.
for it.
I just realized you guys might not know what those actually look like.
Yeah, I'll take your word for it.
So yeah, if you want to look that up, you'll know what I mean. Anyways, so you guys head down the streets and in the rough direction that he pointed you to, and eventually you do come across a building. It's about 3 stories tall. It's more in the German architecture. It looks like it's been here for ages. It was clearly whitewashed within the last few weeks or so, but it's been caked with mud and dirt and all sorts of other refuse on the lower walls of it. On the second and third story, you can see that there is there's a balcony, a metal balcony that kind of looks out over the roadway that you're coming in on. There are quite a few men and ladies scantily dressed on the balconies, kind of waving and smiling at people as they go by. There are very, very nice drapes that are like hung within the interior decoration that you can see from the open doors of these balconies that lead inside to where you can see it's dimly lit from your view outside into the second and third story, but it looks like the hallways seem to have these large black silk drapes that go through. You don't know how far into, and there's like hanging candles that kind of just loosely hang and are like they're a little bit like bull lanterns that just hang every so often into the hallway that give off a low light from what you can see outside.
Out of curiosity, have I ever seen a failing outside of our own city?
No.
So are these people looking at me extra strange?
No. These people don't seem to care that you exist at the moment.
Okay.
Just more weird people coming through town. Just another day.
But do you guys go ahead and hitch your hitch your animals, or do you go to the stables across the street?
Stables.
Okay, you guys go over to the
I'm
stables.
not leaving Timo out on the road.
Yeah.
That's
When you go over to the
right.
stables, it looks like it's a very old. Looks like it was at one time a like brick and wood warehouse, almost like a cannery at one point. That was probably went into the medieval term for foreclosure that I do not have.
Destitution.
And yes. And was sold and then refurbished and turned into a stables. So there are very obscenely large doors that go into the stables themselves, and the building itself takes up the space of about 3 buildings that you would normally see. Inside, it's very well lit. There are a number of there's a number of stable spaces that most of them are occupied by horses, donkeys, mules, goats. A few of them are occupied actually by very familiar reptile creatures that look like anteaters. A few of them. There are 3 in particular in the stall on the first floor. But you can also see
Nash friends.
yeah, Nash friends. But you can also see that there's a wooden ramp that leads up to a second floor, and you can hear the sound of hoof prints coming from upstairs, and occasionally you watch as little bits of hay slip through the cracks of the ceiling and drift down. When you open up the doors and begin leading your animals in, a very burly half-orc individual with dark grayish skin instead of green, covered in muck, with a large brown torn apron on, and a bit of straw between his teeth. Kind of walks up to you guys and says, "Hello, how can I help you folks?"
We were
We
hoping
just,
yeah.
yeah. Go ahead.
stable our animals here while we get a drink across.
Fantastic. How long are you gonna be staying?
Hour or two.
Okay, fantastic. You want second floor or first floor?
First.
Okay. You go ahead and dismount. Leave him with me. It'll be 8 silver.
I'll give him 2 gold. Just
Okay.
take good care of them.
Thank you very much. Now we do have the treat special. If you want them to be treated with like treats and fruits and stuff, you know what? I'll add it on as a courtesy, and
Great.
takes the animals and leads them further into the building, and kind of takes them around the left side corner. You can hear him opening up stalls as you guys make your way out of the building.
Oh, boy. All right.
Okay. You head into the Widowed Peak, and as you step inside, you can immediately see that this place has a quite interesting decor. There are your normal wooden round tables. There are, booths with actual leather in them. Quite a few of them have like draped over skins with the fur still on them, but have been cured, of course. That kind of hang is almost draping on some of the booths. There is a large open fireplace. There is a very large bar on the other side of the establishment. The establishment itself, from the front door to the bar, is roughly about 60 feet walking distance. The tables are filled with card games and people just chatting about and drinking, but everyone's talking very low. No one's trying to be very loud. Everyone's being respectful of each other and noise level, as it were. There are quite a few male and female prostitutes going around freely serving drinks. Some of them talking to clients and getting slipped coin, things like that, and heading off. There is a elegant, beautiful wooden mastercraft staircase that spirals up to the next floor. On the ceiling itself, has almost like these waves of these silk black drapes that you saw earlier. This time purely just making a wave formation on the roof. And every once in a while, a portion of the silk has been cut away to allow a gold-plated chandelier to be set up there that has roughly about 20 candles a chandelier, and there's 3 chandeliers that kind of sit in a triangle in the room to give the place some decent light, plus the open fireplace. There is a heavy smell of applewood tobacco smoke and peanuts and bacon, and also not stale ale, but like honeywood, like cured ale.
So, guys, why don't we use one of these coins to get the best food and the best drink we can get in here?
Okay.
Sounds good to me. And Garen grabs one of the coins and runs off.
Oh God.
We're just getting used to the quiet.
Okay. But he's run off with one of the coins, and he runs up to the bar and starts chatting up the bartender, and he runs back. Here you go! Throws you guys some keys, and says, pick your own place for table-wise. I'm going that way to that card game. And he scurries off.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, I do my best to blend in and listen while I eat and drink.
Okay. What are the rest of you doing?
Same.
All right.
I'll observe and see if there's. Well, no. You know what? I'm gonna go talk to the bartender.
Okay, great. What about Dash?
I mean, I've never been huge on it, but I guess go get some food. It's been a long road.
Never been huge on food. All right, great.
No, I've never been huge on like the civilization shit. I don't know. I didn't finish the thought. I went halfway through one thought and then roll on to the next thought.
Yeah, I got you. No, I knew. I knew what you were going for. So as Sasha goes off to one of the tables that's relatively empty and pretends to be Aragorn with a cloak, Cinna, you walk over to the actual bar itself, and there is a drow man, very young, a little bit younger than you, actually, from the looks of it, and a half-orc man who are both behind the bar. And they're kind of cleaning glasses, filling out orders, and it's very rapid pace, very busy. There are about 6 people sitting at the bar itself. There are 2 stools that are open that you could sit at, and they're kind of paying you no heed at this point as you're just walking up.
Okay. I will sit down at one of the stools and order a drink.
Okay. So you raise your hand, order, and the half-orc comes over. How may I help you, Missy?
Do you have any soft cider?
Yeah, I got some soft cider. Anything else?
That'll do it for now.
Okay. 2 bronze. And he walks off. And yes, he did say bronze, not copper.
I was gonna say, is this another new pseudocurrency? Gold is onyx, bronze is copper.
We do have change from that one coin, right? So we should have like bronze.
Well, Garen has that change.
I mean, I have some silver on me, so I'm assuming
I can hand you another one of those onyx things
You-
before you leave.
Okay. Great. So he comes back and puts down a very frothy, cool glass in front of you. And what do you put down currency-wise?
Your glee at me saying I'm gonna give him a silver is terrifying. So I think I'll give him one of the onyx coins.
Okay, as you put it down on the table, he goes, okay, all right. I see what you're putting down. It'll take me a second to get change. And he grabs it, and he goes over to the back of the bar and pulls out a small safe and starts fiddling with it. Eventually he opens it up, pulls out a large burlap sack, puts the coin in there, starts counting out gold pieces, then he counts out silver pieces, then he counts out a few copper pieces, and then you watch as he takes out literally a smaller than copper coin that looks to be bronze, and he puts about 30 of them into the pile.
God,
Closes
they have
things up.
pennies.
Yeah, closes it up, puts the burlap sack back into the safe, closes the safe, brings your money over, and says, "You have
That's
like
awful. How could you do this
purse
to
or-
him?
I was scared. The silver. Aaron smiled. It made me scared.
Made this guy do so much extra work. You're a nightmare for customer service people.
Do you have a coin purse, or should I just put this on the table, or?"
I have a purse. Thank you.
Fantastic, Eddie.
I'll slide a gold over to him for his trouble. We're not from here. I didn't realize it was going to be such a chore to.
Oh, no
All right.
problem, no
Change what
problem.
I-
No
All right,
problem.
here's your 99 cents water. Here's my $20 bill.
We got lots of money. I'm good.
Yeah.
Okay. Before he leaves,
Mhm.
I'm going to say, so it seems like the town has had a little bit of trouble lately. What's going on? We see all these soldiers cutting in and out of the woods, and like I said, we're not from here.
Right. So we've got the regular patrols are doing their stuff, except for they're heading more into the woods, further into the woods than they normally do. Prince Aelwick was, killed recently. I don't know if you heard that news, but he's dead. His sister's fine. She's making her way back now. King Bethelwolf, he went out. I want to say early this morning, so he should be heading into the lower town southeast. But yeah, the main garrison got called up due to the fact that the farm said that they were having some issues with some sort of goblin fortress that they found in the mountain. apparently some adventurers were hired to go check out a site in the forest next to the base of the mountain, and ran into an entire encampment, and they fought off the encampment and looted the encampment. Didn't see any trail of something, whatever they were looking for initially. They went further to see if they could find any others, and ran into like this weird path that led to them running up into some like weird tar and stone fortress with fire and things, and they headed back to town. They got back about a week ago. They reported it. Guard went out. I'm assuming maybe you ran past that.
Mm-hmm.
Normal shit.
Where exactly did you say this goblin fortress? What?
Somewhere in the southeast. I'm not entirely up to date on exactly where. That particular group of adventurer are the Michael's the Frostfangs who went out to the mountain, and you see the Drow bartender. Yeah, yes, the Frostfangs. They usually stay on, I want to say, northeast side of town. They're a richer adventuring group, so they stay with Lady Patrice. Yeah, they're based out of her manor. I think they were her personal guard at one point, but now she's hiring them out as mercenaries or some business like that. It's weird.
All right. Well, thanks for the lowdown and the drink.
Yeah, no problem. If you need anything else, just holler. And he goes about and he continues filling orders.
All right, I'll take my drink and go back to Sasha and Dash and tell them the story.
Okay.
What kind of food actually shows up to our table?
So
Aaron ordered it, so
with what Garen ordered, you guys are looking at it's an entire pig that shows up at your table. It doesn't have a head though. It's stuffed, so it has like turkey stuffing in it, but with like turkey bits in the stuffing. It's glazed with like this clear sort of marinade that has chili peppers spread throughout it, and what tastes like a very light hint of garlic. And it's surrounded in the dish. It's surrounded by mashed potatoes and gravy.
Wow. Okay, let's eat.
Mm-hmm. And as it gets plopped down on your table, you watch as Garen scuttles over with a handful of cards and quickly grabs one of the plates that are provided with the huge dish that they put down, and quickly carves as much of it off and scoops as many potatoes as he can into his plate and grabs it and runs off with his cards back to the table he was at.
yeah, leave it to Garen. He doesn't make a peep all night, all day yesterday, all day today, and he shows up when the food comes.
Well, what kind of drinks do they bring?
You have to order your own, so they don't bring any drinks with the food.
Okay,
but
I'm
one of you
gonna
does have a great cider.
I'm gonna order some drinks, some mead.
They have the options of blackberry or blueberry.
I'll go with blueberry.
All right, fantastic. They bring you very dark blueberry tasting meads. Blueberry pie tasting meads, to be exact.
Okay. Just for the heck of it, I'll order a blackberry too.
Okay. It tastes like a blackberry pie, but this time it comes with like the rim of it is coated with lime juice, and then there's red sugar crystals that are on the rim of the cup.
Fancy. Okay. Do we overhear any conversations? Anybody paying attention to us?
Go ahead and make me, I would say, perception checks if you want to try and overhear any conversations and see if you can pick up anything remotely interesting. Other than, did you hear? Sheila cheated on Daryl. Okay, 15. It's not bad.
I'm pretty clueless. I think I'm still busy looking to see if I can see any more failings
Okay.
anywhere.
You don't. Is Dash gonna also listen for conversations, or is he just gonna enjoy his meal and do his own thing?
I mean, unfamiliar territory, and we're getting further north. Who knows if you might hear, like, did you hear the noble guy up further north? They got this weird thing they got brought from some other dimension. But
Well, you don't hear anything like that, and neither does Senna. But Senna, you do hear that about 3 tables over, there's people in this very quiet conversation that you can barely make out with a 15. You make out the words Sunstrider. You make out the words 15. Yeah, you make out Sunstrider, the Gray Forest, and you make out the words ritual and demons.
Didn't the people at that weird little town we stopped at say something about Sunstriders?
possible. I not
Possibly.
quite to I not to try to think about what they kept saying. They
Would you
seemed
like to roll a history check to see if your DM can give you any helpful hints about this?
Sure.
I mean, I don't think it's gonna give me any good, but
13.
Hold on. History. History.
14. 15. Okay, with a 15. Yes, you do remember the word Sunstrider from the town. Particularly tall individuals that the sun seems to avoid. Very deadly.
Okay.
Right. Boy, it looks like there is a can of worms going on here. And I don't think we should open it.
probably a good idea not to.
I'm going to go ahead and use my inspiration before it goes bad,
Mm-hmm.
and go ahead and see what else I can pick up on from what's going on in the room.
Okay.
So how do I do that?
You're just going to roll a perception check and then plus 1d6. Oh, okay. No.
Oh, crap!
Oh, wait. Well, roll your
Yeah,
roll
no.
your 1d6. Let's see.
And a 1d6. Okay.
I'm looking for a 6. Sorry.
Oh.
No
No.
relevant information has been revealed other than, hey, have you heard Deborah? She looks better. I mean, she's lost some weight.
Geez, that Deborah really gets around. Oh, by the way, out of character. Happy birthday to
Oh,
you.
God.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Aaron. Happy birthday to you. And many more. Yay!
Cringe.
Shut up. It's not your birthday.
Okay, back in character.
All right, moving on. Okay. Well, but that's the extent of the conversations that you hear.
Guys, so we're not spending the night here, right?
Oh, you
So,
have keys.
We have keys.
Yeah, Garen bought rooms.
We told the stable people we were only going to be here 1 or 2 hours.
You can change that.
I can go back and
So,
if we want to stay.
yeah. We need to give the stable guy some more money. I'll go do that.
Okay, so you go and you
Want
pay
some
the
of
extra fee.
change?
You take the change. And when you take the change, you actually have to use 4 of the bronze. Yay! To pay for
Okay.
the holdover fee. So in total, it was like 2 gold, 7 silver, 4 bronze.
Okay.
All right. But you go ahead and pay that. You head back, and as you're heading back, Desh, you're approached by a lovely lady of half elven origin, wearing a cowboy hat. Kind of sits down next to you.
Yeehaw.
Well, how you doing, darling? Tell me, would you be interested in my services for tonight?
I have no, just judging purely from her outfit, I have no cows that need handling, no.
Oh, I'm sure we can find some.
No, I am good at tending to Nash and others. I do not require help.
So she just kind of giggles and stands up. Well, it's been fun. Y'all have a good night. And she heads off to a different table.
Okay.
People seem very
see.
hard up for work.
How
Yep,
I do
they
at
do.
one card game before I go to bed.
Okay. Of the 12 different card games that are going on, and of the 12 different rule sets of those card games that are going on, which of the 12 would you like to enter in?
The only one I know.
Blackjack?
Sounds good.
All right. So, okay. You sit down at the table. The opening bid is 1 gold.
Okay.
So you go ahead and put that down. Okay, and the dealer it's you and 3 others. The dealer starts dealing out cards. So go ahead and roll me 2 d20s.
Okay. 2d20.
Okay. Do you want to hold?
Yes.
Okay. So you hold, and then let's see what the dealer gets. So he's gonna roll these one at a time. 15. He's gonna risk it. Okay, 18. He decides to hold. You lose your gold because you didn't beat him.
Try one more time.
Okay. Go ahead and roll me those 2 d20.
I said one-handed cards.
I did.
Shh. Never poke a gambler. 12. You want to hold?
No.
Okay. What do you want to do? You want to double down, or do you want to call or get a new card? I should say.
I'm gonna try for one more card.
Okay. Roll a 1d20. Ooh, that's a bust.
Oh.
You lose another gold.
All right. I'm going to bed.
Okay. Fantastic. Anybody else try any recreational activities of the
Nope.
card or flesh sort?
Nah.
All right.
Did I hear any juicy tidbits during the game?
Give me a perception check.
Okay.
No, you get wrapped up in a conversation with this guy named Earl about whether or not he should marry Clara, this girl from his farm who's working there part-time to pay off her loan for college.
Oh, there's higher
Wow.
education. Got it.
Yeah, that Clara.
All
Never
right.
know about love. I'm
Well-
going to bed.
You go to bed. And unfortunately, that is where we're going to call it for now. We started and we didn't go as long as we normally would have, but that's okay. Thank you all so much for coming out. I greatly appreciate each and every one of you, and we hope to see you soon. Just as a real quick recap, I have been your DM, GM, storyteller, whatever you would like to call me, The Forgotten Dreams, or Forgotten Dreams, depending on where you find me. We are on Twitch, Trovo, and YouTube, and I'm joined by a lovely cast of people, starting with Ellen, then
Ellen.
Wade,
Oh.
then Cyber Mama. And they will be seeing you in 2 weeks' time. So, adios. Bye.
I
Bye.
Adios.